Dear friends, today we met with Mr. Stanislav Shamaev, my friend and the founder of Shamaev Business Law. Stanislav, tell us a little bit about yourself, your background, about your company, and how long you've been in the US. Tell us your story.
Okay, so a little bit of my background. I was born in 1985 in a small town of Kaluga. It's a town in Russia, not very far from Moscow. And I was a regular kid. I was going to school, and when I was 14 years old, my mom started doing business.
So she was an entrepreneur?
She was an entrepreneur, yes, by spirit also, not only by action. So
actually, I met Stanislav's mom, and yes, I can feel spirit, entrepreneur spirit.
Yes, she's very active, and she has a lot of energy.
So she influenced you when you were opening up your own venture, pretty much.
Yeah, just in general, my mom had a lot of influence on me throughout my childhood and my teenage years. So when I was 14, she started the business, and it was in front of my eyes, and I was helping her because back in 2000, when Russia just became Russia after the collapse of the Soviet Union, and it was like chaos. There was no logistics for businesses, and everybody could make money, but it would take a lot of effort to do that. So
effort, risk.
Yeah, it was hard, but it was possible, and there were opportunities. So my mom seized one of them, and we started like with a small like grocery store. You know, like really, it's I don't know, like 10 by 12 feet, something really small, and we were bringing the groceries from the bigger stores there, and that's how we grew. And then the second one, the third one, and so I saw the result of our work. And then my mom also went to the United States around that time, and maybe she put another seed in my mind about this country.
Oh, so she was the first.
She was the first one to come here. Yes.
She went for the tourism.
She actually won a federal grant from the federal government. It was for Russian business people who knew English, who spoke English, and her first education was English teacher, and she was an entrepreneur. So you know, the combination of two, and she has a lot of charisma and energy, and there was like 1 to 30 chance to get this grant, and so she was among those like 20 people who won. Wow. And she came here. She was in Alabama, in Huntsville, this like little town.
Alabama.
Blue skies.
I'm getting actually the broker's license there soon too.
Alabama is a really good state. So she came back, and she was really amazed, and she was telling the stories. And back then I didn't think about going to the States, but I think it was on the back of my mind somehow. And then I came here with the exchange program when I was 18, and I stayed here and worked and looked at the country, and I loved it. And a couple of years later, I came here and I decided to stay. And then you know, I went through. I started with cleaning the toilets in the hotel and being a trash guy in the pizzeria, and then like.
So really, from bottom
from the
up.
very bottom, from the very bottom.
This is very I respect that a lot. It's you know, it takes an effort, and plus you were able to achieve a lot with. How did you decide to, at the first place, go to university or to go to law school? Why? What influenced you back then?
I always wanted to get a higher education here in the States, and because in Russia I had only 3 years of college, of university, and I didn't graduate. So first of all, it was like my goal to get the bachelor's here, and then I always knew I would do something. It wasn't an option for me. It was like a goal. And back in 2009, I started school here in Boca Raton. It's Florida Atlantic University. I was going to criminology and criminal justice department, yes, for my undergraduate, and then I went to law school here in Miami in St. Thomas. So that's my path to getting my license as an attorney, which happened in 2015. And same year, I opened up my law firm. And at first, I wanted to do the litigation, the court cases, and represent my clients in court and do some corporate work. But then I was cued to immigration work, and right now I have probably one of the biggest companies. It's definitely the biggest company among the Russian-speaking law firms in the States, but also is maybe among other big companies too. They're doing immigration work. Yes, about 40 people work for my company right now.
40 people.
40 people, yes.
So
I have 6 departments. With the executive department, strategy department, customer service, the marketing department, the quality control, and the new department which I just formed. It's communication with the embassies. Due to COVID and some unrest in the world, we decided to help our clients to communicate with the embassies.
This is big effort. I mean, to manage that big company and that many people, definitely you have a huge entrepreneurial spirit and you create jobs, plus you help people to move to US. How hard was it like for you to establish the business initially? Like how much, like what was the driving motivation behind it? Like what forced you to, like pushed you towards this building something large? Because many attorneys whom I know too, they prefer to stay small, small practice. And for you, I know you for last I think 7 years, and how you've been growing, and it's very impressive, I'll say. So it's a good example. So people, I mean, why did you decide to go that venue?
Well, it's for whatever reason, maybe because my mom influenced me. I knew I would have my own law firm. For me, it wasn't a question of if; it was a question of when. And I wanted to get some experience with the larger law firms, but for whatever reason, they would not hire me when I was applying for the positions. Although my resume was much better than the average. Even a good one. Mine was much better because I was really good in school and I graduated with honors and all that, and good internships. But for whatever reason, I learned the reason a little bit later, because the way I was posing myself at the interview was not the proper way for the employee.
What was it?
I was saying that in 3-5 years I see myself as owning my own law firm and
owning your own law firm,
yeah, and,
or acquiring you guys.
I was honest. And it was the wrong thing to do, but hey, maybe that's why we're here. And that pushed me. That situation pushed me to open up my firm, and
it worked out very well.
It's working out seemingly, and I got a lot of support from my family, from my close friends, and I thought, why not? And I tried it, and
you risked it.
I risked it, and things worked out.
Awesome. No, this is a very big effort, and you created jobs, and I believe that you have a lot of entrepreneurial great skills, and you can grow even more, like nationwide, globally.
Definitely. That's the goal, to be the biggest law firm in the United States. And why I like what I do is because I'm helping the business people, investors, and talented people, extraordinary ability people to come here in US and have a ticket to the new life. So it's just I have the power to change people's life, and it's very gratifying.
So tell us about your main focuses, right? So you mentioned that 2 type of visas. So one will be talent visa for talented people, and second one is for business-oriented visas. So tell us about. Let's start with talent. What's the focus? What types of visas are there, and to whom it's applicable?
Yes, there are a bunch of visas for talent people. They are, but there are major two. It's O1 and EB1A. O1 is also divided in two: O1A, O1B. Not going to talk about details because it's a lot of things to talk about, but they encompass the
details can be you can get all the details on Stanislav's YouTube channel. All the links will be provided below.
Yes,
he has a very good presence. He talks about all the visa types in more details. Here we'll provide the overview so you can grasp it, but then please follow him on his YouTube. The links will be below.
Yes, thank you. Today, the purpose of today's video is just to give an idea of what's available, right? So for talent visas, we have O1 and EB1A, and those visas are for business people, for scientists, for education people, for art people, and for athletes, for sport people. So if someone has achieved some type of recognition on the national level in that field that person is talented at, then having prizes and awards, having press about you, having a membership in the professional associations, doing some significant contribution in the field, playing critical roles or leading roles in famous big companies, making good money. All those could be a criteria for satisfying the requirements for the visas. Yes, so we need to satisfy at least 3 of those criteria. Let's say prizes, press, and membership in association. So that could be enough to get at least O1 visa, right?
So in your company, like let's say there is a scientist, you send inquiry to you, you will break it down to them and select like what they need to submit, provide in order to qualify, be approved. So you do the first scope, like first consultation, right?
Well, we have a very thorough process of how we work with the clients. First of all, I give a free analysis of the case for the clients, and that requires filling out an application, like a questionnaire that I prepared. Then I analyze the answers. I provide analysis of what's good, what's not good, and then the person goes to, I call it immigration planning, where we go deep into each criteria. I build up a plan for a client to follow. Then a client hires my company, and he passes to the executive department, where my team and myself develop the case, where I have a strategy which is implemented by my team and the client. So the whole process is written out, and I try to make it simple, because the mission of my company to make immigration simple. So we do our best to stick to this mission.
To the mission statement.
Yes, mission statements.
So what about the history of this visa? I mean, how long has it been in place? Is it new type of program, or it's been in place for a long time? And give us an example of last case which was approved, which was done by your company.
Yes. These visas, they have existed forever, right? Even before I and you were born. So why? Because America wants good people, wants the quality people. Yes, quality. We want qualifications and the quality. So of course, those programs exist for American employers to get cheap, talented people to work for them, right? And when I say cheap, I don't mean that they're going to be underpaid. They're going to be paid the same as the regular American employee, but the talent is much higher and the qualification is much better. So that's the win-win situation for everybody, for the states, for the employer, for the immigrant, the potential immigrant. And that's when we talk about O1 visa, right? There is a EB1, which is also for talented people, but whose achievements are much greater, like big competitions, big prizes, huge press, national or internet, and probably some international recognition, Forbes, Vogue, like big magazines, big press, television, radio. You go to the conference, you do publications, you write a book. They want you to go to be expert somewhere. So it's a higher standard of the talent. But we work with all kind of talents, and it's all possible. The last cases that we got just recent from yesterday. We got 2 green cards, one for a tennis player from Ukraine and one for a Taekwondo a fighter from Russia.
Taekwondo.
And they're both ladies, so
awesome.
It's, the fighter lady, it's something, it's scary too, you want to get a green card for that person because Lord knows.
Kick your ass. I did Taekwondo when I was a kid. I remember I have a purple belt. So probably this lady, she has like a black belt, double black.
Yeah, she's very famous, and but also IT programmers, IT specialists, huge. Graphic designers, data mining, coding, artificial intelligence. You name it, anything, anything could be a talent. And the beauty industry is huge. Like we got the green cards for tattoo masters, for eyelashes masters.
So tattoo master, they will provide like the best tattoos or like tattoos from stars or like.
They just have good work and they get prizes.
Probably immigration officer like, I want this tattoo too.
Like porn stars could get a green card too. you gotta prove your talent.
The views on the
everything, the press and they have prizes too, and
So you submit all this package to immigration officers. So they review this talent and they do it case by case.
Of course. The average case is like about 500 pages. So that's the smallest we usually send. And if we talk about like EB5 visas, like it could be thousands of pages.
So this packages seems like super expensive. It's like 100K. What's the price of your company to do this process? Basically, like let's say I'm a talented person. I live in UK and I want to move to US. Right? I don't know. I'm a graphic designer. So what will be the cost of?
It will depend on the type of visa, but at this point, as we speak, because things change, it's going to be around $9,000-10,000 for my work and the work of my team, and plus the government fee, like 2,000-3,000 depending on the type of visa.
So in total, about if you have 15K, like basically,
it's going to be under 15K.
To get to US, it will settle you back 15,000, but it will give you like so much more instead.
Yes,
awesome. No, yeah, I mean, so this is one type of visas, right? O1 and the second type EB1E. Let's talk about your second direction within your company, which is business visas, right? So let's talk about what options entrepreneurs and business owners have if they live, let's say, in Europe or Asia, I mean, wherever. Like, are there any restrictions on any certain countries? So tell us more about specifically for entrepreneurs. So I have my own company, let's say, take like France, and I want to move to US with my family and start business in US.
Right. So that would take a bunch of factors for me to analyze to find out the best program for you, and that includes your goals and long-term goals, short-term goals, your capital, your budget, and
so that then the clients fill out your application.
Yes, it's definitely for each type of visa. I have a questionnaire where a potential client first fills out those applications, answers those questions. I review them. And I tell, okay, here's what's going to work for you. This is the good stuff. This is bad stuff, and you basically have a good idea what's going to work for you after this.
You find the best solution.
I'll find the best solution, and we may offer more when we speak in person also. So as to the most available programs for the foreign entrepreneurs, There are three of them. It's EB5, L1, and E2. So let's start with EB5, one of my favorite programs. That's for business people who achieved a lot, who has a lot of capital, at least $800,000, which could be used as a passive investment in somebody's business. However, if you want to be active and control and do business yourself, you can invest with about $1,050,000 and open up your own business and create 10 jobs.
So the criteria is to create 10 jobs if it's your own business. And what do you mean by passive? So what type of companies you can invest in? Like, is it what type of companies accept these investments and they approved, I guess, by USCIS? So tell us a little bit about
Yes, those companies, they have a common name. They called regional centers. And that basically means that it could be any company in the States, but they file an application with the US government and get a license from the government approving their project that may accept the investment from foreign investors in exchange for the green card from the US government. So those regional centers, they do all kind of business, but most likely the development, the building,
so real estate development,
redevelopment, construction. Usually it's hotels, resorts.
Super familiar topic to us. So
yes,
I trust that type of business.
Definitely, yes. You know even more about that than I do. And but it also could be schools, it could be roads, it could be bridges, it could be any infrastructure project.
So the criteria, I mean, if your business, like you invest, and then if you're doing passive investment, so this passive, I mean, the company whom you invest, they have to create these 10 jobs. If you're doing the investment yourself, you need to create 10 jobs. You're responsible.
Yes, that's the difference. So the passive investment, you don't do anything. You pass all the business risks to other companies, or if you do active investment, you take all the business risks on yourself.
And what's the time frame, and who can? So let's say you're the business. So I mean, you're entrepreneur. You have $800,000. You want to invest. How long will it take you to get to the green card so you can move to US, and who will get it along the way? Like your spouse? What about your kids?
Yes, your spouse and your kids under 21 who are not married, they will get the green card. As to the time frame, now we are at the point of time where there is a change in the program. So a reform just happened to this program, and there's a lot of change that's not yet implemented. But we know the framework of how it's going to work. So let's probably talk about the future, right? So that's what's going to happen presently, and this program is becoming the most favorable, in my view, for people with the capital, because first of all, the best change is that it's going to be an expedited process for this visa. USCIS, the immigration service, claims that it's going to take not more than 6 months to process those petitions. And on top of that, this reform changed one huge thing. Now you can expect your green card being here in the United States. So the pending application for EB2 filed in the United States while you are in the United States gives you the right to stay here legally. So at this point, it doesn't really matter when it's going to be approved, because you will be able to work and travel. So
this is awesome. Otherwise, because before it was like you have to wait.
You have to wait outside. Unless you have some other status.
So about this update, so where can people see these updates? Can they follow your channel so you will be talking about
Yes,
the
definitely.
updates?
Yes, because we do a lot of these EB5 visas on a daily basis. So I talk about them on my YouTube channel, on my TikTok, on my Instagram. They're all in English. We launched all these platforms, so there's a lot of free and available information over there, and our viewers can get access to them clicking the links below this video.
Yes.
And the most important thing for this program is the source of funds. That's pretty much the only requirement to participate in this program, to be able to show that you made the money legally.
So let's say like you can sell apartment in somewhere and show the proof how you bought it initially, where the money came from, like you made it for your business, and that will be totally normal. Okay. And any restrictions on countries or?
No restrictions. Any country can take part in this program, and it's just great way to get green card fast and pretty easy, especially if it's a passive investment. You know, you don't have to do anything; just give the money to the company and you enjoy.
So number one, EB5. So what's next? What's the
next one is L1. That's for those folks who have companies outside of the US and they are in a management or executive position. So they got to be a top management or executive. They could be founders, but
at the same time. So they have to be like executive member and they can be founders at the same time.
You don't have to be a founder to use this visa. A lot of time you are a founder and also you take one of the executive positions, but you don't have to. It could be a huge company that wants to open up affiliated company here, a representative company here, and they want to transfer one of the employees to scale that business. And it could be a founder, or it could be not.
So what will be the requirements here? Let's say they open up an office, this person transfers one of the executives. What else?
We've got to have a business plan. We've got to have an office, a registered company, a business account with some money, capitalization of the company, which comes from the business plan, like the amount of money to make it a break-even point. And
you will help to create the business plan.
Definitely. Like I don't write business plans, but we have partners who do, and we have the whole process laid out. Basically, I'll need at least 15 employees under the control of the person who we're transferring
over there in the country of origin.
Yes. And here, if it's a startup business, I will require at least 5 employees at the end of year 1 under the beneficiary.
Should it be any hierarchy here, like below? So, for example, a few departments, or it can be.
Yes, ultimately we want to see the company scale and the structure in the company, but of course, not every business can do this at the end of year number 1. So, year number 1, I want to see 5 people. Out of which 1 or 2 are also managers who are controlling the rest.
And so what about for this program for L1? What does it lead to? So let's say the employees came here, the executive came to US. They put structure in place. How much time he can stay? Can his family come along? Let's say after a few years, he developed the business, does he need to leave back, or what's the next steps?
Well, this visa is for up to 7 years, and it depends on the long-term goals of the client. If they want to get a green card, it's possible, because L1 visa has dual intention, so-called dual intention, meaning that while having that visa, you may intend to immigrate in the future, and you don't have to conceal it. You could be open about it. For that to happen, you have to requalify your L1 visa to so-called EB1C visa. EB1C is, by criteria, it's pretty much the same as L1 visa. However, the scale of business is larger. I'll need at least 8 people under the control of the client with the structure, right? So like imagine this triangle, and you're at the top. Then you have the managers who control the rest, other departments. So it could be departments, it could be pretty much any structure, but it should be a structure at the same time. So if we have that, and that structure worked for over a year, and the business is profitable to be able to pay all the salaries and make money, extra money, then we can file for EB1C and get a green card for the client.
And so what will be the cost of this program? I mean, with your firm, how much is it, and what's the time frames of getting it?
That's probably around $15,000 altogether. Like I would charge at this point like $10,000, but there is the government fee, and there is translations and some other expenses, and also there's other different type of government fees, regular processing. soon it's going to be expedited processing for this type of visa also. So probably around $15,000 is a fair
So
statement.
for entrepreneurs, it's I mean, if you have your business in Europe, let's say, or in Asia, I mean, today is actually very economical. So
Yeah, it's
and
not very expensive.
yeah, the amount of opportunities you will get here with the reach to the US market, which is huge and one of the top markets for retail business, for IT. So this is about L1. And what about, there is another type of
The third one is E2 visa.
E2 visa.
Yes,
So
that's a
tell us more about
small investment visa with investment of 100K plus of clean money. If you want to open up a startup or buy an existing business, you can bring your family, just like L1 visa. You can bring your spouse and kids here. Kids will be able to go to school, and
will it lead eventually to green card as well?
E2 does not in itself lead to the green card. It's non-immigrant, no dual intent visa. It's just a non-immigrant visa. But if you scale your business, if you grow it, if you reinvest money into it, you can
go for first program, the EB5.
Yes, or if you hire a lot of people, you can try EB2 national interest waiver. Or maybe you'll find other company who wants your services, they file for EB3 for you. So there's a bunch of ways to do this, but it's a really good and inexpensive, relatively, way to get in the States and start your business and look at other opportunities.
So there is basically there are program out there for any type of entrepreneurs for talented people too, and definitely if you're thinking about move your business to the US, or if you're a talented person, you're a scientist or you artist, reach out to Stanislav. He'll guide you, because as you can see, for him it's very simple, but there's a variety of programs, and there is program for you for sure. So reach him out and he'll. So you, I see, Stanislav, you at the first place as an entrepreneur. So I want to question you, ask you a few questions, quick answers. Don't think much about your entrepreneurial skills. So the most important quality for entrepreneur, in your opinion?
I think it's a leadership. It's a leadership in your company. You got to be able to, by way of your example, show the rest of the employees and the company people how things work.
Excellent, very good. What was the most important lesson during your entrepreneurial experience?
Well, I think it's like everybody else. My mistakes were my best teachers. You know,
you learn.
Yes, you make. Everybody makes mistakes, and I'm the first one to admit those mistakes, and of course learn from them. That's very important, because you don't want to do them twice and risk and bring more risk to your business.
So don't be afraid to make mistakes, but make sure you learn from them and don't step on the same mistakes twice. What passion do you have besides your business?
Well, my biggest passion is cryptocurrencies, blockchain, and in particular Bitcoin.
Awesome. So we need to do another video session, because Stanislav, he taught me a lot about cryptocurrency investments. It's a very interesting topic. What will be the best book you recommend for the entrepreneur?
I would go for two books. First one is 7 Habits of Most Successful People, or most productive people, I think I'd say.
7 Habits of Most Effective, I believe. Yeah, it was the book which I was recommended in the university too.
Really?
Yep. Yeah, one of our professor of marketing, actually.
Yeah, and it's a very good book. I think if you really read and implement it, it's going to help a lot. Because just reading it's not going to help. You have to actually do it. You have to do it and use it. That's one. And number 2, it's Psychology of Persuasion. I think it's Cetadelli. I think it's American-Italian author. It's really good. Just not only for your business, but just for your life. It's a really good book.
I haven't read this one, but I want to. So I'll put the link below to this book so we can check it out. Okay, then lastly, so question to me. What do you have any questions?
I have a question for you, Nick. What makes you happy?
So what makes me happy in today's, today and yesterday and tomorrow is definitely my family, number one, and number two is my business, what I like to do, what I love to do. For me, as you know, I don't work at all because I do work.
It's a hobby.
It's a hobby, exactly. And there are so many aspects about real estate. It's different every day, and that's what I love about. Yeah, it's challenges. Lots of challenges, building the teams, same as probably you had, but it's motivate me. Plus family, family is number one. I have 2 kids now, so the life changed, and before it was me and my wife. Now it's +2, like doubled in amount of people at home. So definitely,
Twice as happy.
Twice as happy, yeah. So that's what makes me happy. So think about the entrepreneurs. Imagine that he's sitting in front of the screen right now and watching us. Tell him, give him advice how to start business or what to do, where to find motivation.
Well, this is a very broad topic, but I think I can narrow it down to a couple of things. First of all, I think it's very important to do what you love. Is like Nick said, if you love what you do, then every day at work is like a holiday, like it's your hobby. You don't become miserable person. You motivated and you move forward. That's number one. And number two, which I think is even more important, is try to set up the unreachable goals. I think it's very important to do this. Why? Because there is no cutting point to success or great life or great business. It's always a process. So if your process is on the way to unreachable goals, then you always will reach much more than you could have if you didn't have those goals. So don't be shy, aim for the skies, and everything's going to be great.
Stanislav, thank you. It was a great interview. Always pleasure to see you.
Pleasure.
And just follow us, follow Stanislav, and see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.